Hey friends, Deja here. Today we're going to talk about brows. I'm going to give you a really natural way to fill your brows in, and then I'm going to show you how to define them and clean them up. So with that being said, let's find out where our brow should begin, where the middle of our brow should be, and where the end of it is. I'm going to use a brush that we're going to use later on in the tutorial, and I'm going to line it up in 3 points. So the first point that I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up with the outside edge of my nose, straight past the corner of the inside of my eye, and that's where your brow should start. The next point is going to be still against your nose here. We're going to go out past where the round in the color of your eye is, and that's where your brow highest point should be. And then we're going to go out to the outer corner of your eye, and that's where the end of your brow should sit. So now that you have a pretty good guideline of where your brow should be, and everybody's is going to be different because everybody's brow structure is different. Let's talk about the products and the tools that we're going to use in the tutorial today. I'm going to use an angle brush. This is a 266 brush from MAC. You don't have to use MAC brushes. You can use whatever brush you have handy, as long as your angle brush that you're using doesn't have any frayed edges and isn't fluffy in any kind of way. You definitely want to make sure that it's nice and crisp and clean because we're going to be making some pretty precise lines on your brow. The next brush that I'm going to use is a flat brush. This is a 242 brush from MAC. When I call those numbers out, basically all that is right there, it says it on the brush, that's the style of brush that MAC goes by. So you don't have to go looking for a brush that's called a 242 brush. Basically you just want it to be flat here, and make sure again that it's not fluffy. I'm going to use a clean mascara wand. I'm going to use a cream highlight. I like to use this. It's from MAC as well. If you don't have a MAC product, that's okay. You can use any cream highlighter underneath your brow, or you can use a concealer. That's what this is. And it's about a half a shade lighter than my natural skin tone. Then I'm going to use an eyeshadow. This is charcoal brown from MAC. Again, if you have a different product that you like to put in your brows that's a powder to keep it nice and soft, definitely use that. But this one right here is about half a shade to a shade lighter than my natural hair in my brow. And then you want to use a pencil that's a half a shade to a shade lighter than your natural brow as well. Main reason that we use colors like that are half a shade to a shade lighter than our brows is so that it doesn't get harsh and that it still stays natural and soft. Oh, and this pencil right here is from NYX, and it's in dark brown. Last but not least, I'm going to use makeup wipes. These are my favorite makeup wipes. They're actually from Walmart. They're Equate brand. I've used a ton of makeup wipes, different brands, in my kit and on myself. I have pretty sensitive skin, and these are very gentle on my skin. They remove all the makeup, they smell great, and they're really cost effective for me because I go through a lot of wipes. So now that you have a list of everything that we need, let's jump right in and start on technique. I've already started by filling in my left brow because my left brow is a little more difficult for me to execute. That way, if I get it down and I get it perfected, it'll be a little easier for me to perfect my right brow because my right brow is naturally a little easier for me to do. So I'm going to jump right in with the charcoal brown. I'm going to get a little bit onto my angle brush. And with an angle brush, you want to make sure that when you're filling your brow in, you're using little sketching motions like you were trying to create hairs. And you want to always have the tall guy follow the short guy. So I am going to do little sketching motions. I didn't start right at the front of my brow because I don't want my brow to get too blocky and harsh at the beginning of my brow right in here. I want to still keep it looking like there's some natural hair there. So I'm just sketching that in really lightly, getting an idea of where I want my brow to be. And it's okay if it's not perfect, because we're going to go back in and clean it up, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So now that I have an idea of where I want my brow to be, as you can see on me, I really don't have a tail on the end of my brow here. So I need to go back in with another product like this eye pencil. And I'm going to use those same sketching motions in here, and I'm going to fill in anywhere where the powder hasn't picked up, because it's going to pick up a little different on the hair than it is on the skin. So I'm just going to go in and define that. Again, not going to the front of my brow. I'm just going to keep the sketching motions, get an idea of where that's going to go. Alright, and now that my brow is filled in, I want to clean it up. So I'm going to take a white, and I'm going to take that flat brush, and there's nothing on this flat brush. It's completely clean. You just want to get it a little bit moist against that wipe, and I'm going to trace my brow. And that is going to give you a nice, crisp, clean line. It's going to erase anything that you didn't want. And it's going to bring your brow to a nice, clean point at the very end there. Now, when you're cleaning up your brow, it's okay if the top part of your brow is a little softer. But if you want it to have that nice, crisp, clean, blunt edge on it, you can also go back and clean up the top. Just follow that. And that is more of your natural brow. Now if you want to go in, you want to create a highlight and really define that brow, that's where the cream highlighter is going to come in. I'm going to put a little bit on my brush and warm it up on the back of my hand so that I don't have too much onto my brush. And we're going to use it right under our brow. Just press that against the skin. And we're going to trace our brow. Kind of like we did before, but now we have product on our brow. Or on our brush, I should say. So go back in and just trace that. And then with a clean finger, I'm going to blend that into my skin. And because it's about only a half a shade lighter than my natural skin, the nice part about that is that it could possibly be my own skin, unless you looked really, really hard. And then you have the option to keep that as a nice natural highlight, or you can go in and you can put something over top of it. So it gives you options. Now if you start out too light, it's a little harder to darken it. So just take one quick look at your brow, make sure that you're pretty symmetrical. Your brows don't have to be completely symmetrical because brow hair grows different. I know mine does. My brows are never identical. They're sisters, they're not twins. And if you have any areas where you need to, where if you've gotten a little bit too much color, you can go in with a clean mascara wand and you can just brush that through and it'll lighten it up for you. If you lighten it up too much, go back in and throw some more color in it. The beauty of playing with your eyebrows with these tools is that it gives you a lot of variations, a lot of different ways that you can play with it. Don't get frustrated. It's like riding a bicycle. Once you do it and you get it down, you got this. So that concludes our brow tutorial. If you have any questions for me, please leave them down below. I will definitely answer them. If you have any ideas for topics that you would like to see covered, I'd be really interested in hearing that as well. All of my social media is down below. Please drop by and give me a line. And if you liked what you saw today, then like and subscribe, and I will see you guys soon. Thank you.